is where Seneca begins, not with comfort, but with accusation. Not aimed at fate, not at the gods, but at us. He looks directly at the human condition and says something unsettling. The problem is not that we are given too little time. The problem is that we waste most of what we are given. We complain that life passes quickly, that the years disappear, that death arrives too soon. But Seneca asks a sharper question. Where did all those years go? If life is so short, why does it feel endlessly long when we are bored, distracted, or chasing things that never satisfy us? The truth, he says, is not that life is brief. It is that we live it poorly. From the moment we are young, we are taught to prepare for life instead of living it. Childhood is spent waiting to grow up. Adulthood is spent chasing success, approval, wealth, or status. Old age is spent looking back, wondering where everything went. At no point do most people ever fully arrive in the present moment. We are always elsewhere, mentally absent from our own lives. Seneca calls this a kind of self-inflicted poverty, not of money, but of time. Time, he says, is the only thing that truly belongs to us. And yet it is the thing we guard the least. We protect our property, we protect our reputation, we protect our bodies, but our hours, we hand them away freely, to meaningless obligations, to people who drain us, to endless distractions, to ambitions that are never questioned. And then we dare to say that life is short. Seneca observed this even in ancient Rome, long before modern technology, long before endless screens and notifications. People rushed from one commitment to another, always busy, always occupied, yet strangely unfulfilled. They mistook movement for meaning, noise for purpose. He noticed something deeply tragic. The busiest people often live the least. They're pulled in every direction by external demand. One moment consumed by politics, the next by business, the next by pleasure, the next by worry. Their lives are fragmented, divided, scattered. They're never fully present anywhere, not even with themselves. Such people, Seneca says, are not truly alive. They are merely passing time. To live fully requires something most people avoid: intention. It requires choosing how to spend one's days instead of letting others choose for you. It requires the courage to step away from what everyone else values and ask a dangerous question: is this worth my life? Because that is the real cost of everything you do. Not money, not effort, but life itself. Every meeting you attend, every argument you engage in, every distraction you surrender to, you're paying with minutes you'll never get back. And yet, Seneca noticed that people behave as if time were infinite, as if tomorrow were guaranteed, as if old age was certain. We plan for a future that may never arrive, while neglecting the present that is already slipping away. He saw men who postponed living until retirement, who endured years of misery in the hope of a future freedom that never came, who said, "One day I will live," without realizing that one day was today. But tomorrow is a promise no one has received in writing. This is why Seneca's tone is severe. He is not trying to soothe you. He's trying to wake you up. He says that the greatest mistake people make is believing that life will begin later, after this phase, after this responsibility, after this problem is solved. But life does not wait for conditions to improve. It happens only now, and now is fragile. Seneca reminds us that death is not something waiting at the end of a long road. It walks beside us every day, quietly, patiently, not as a threat, but as a fact. Ignoring it does not make it go away. it only makes our lives smaller. To be aware of death is not morbid. It is clarifying. When you truly understand that your time is limited, trivial things lose their power over you. Empty status symbols begin to look ridiculous. Endless arguments feel absurd. You stop wasting energy on people and pursuits that add nothing to your soul. Seneca believed that philosophy exists for this reason, not as abstract thought, but as a practical tool for living well. Philosophy teaches you how to use your time, how to choose depth over noise, meaning over motion. He distinguishes sharply between those who merely exist and those who truly live. Those who merely exist are constantly occupied. Their calendars are full. Their minds are restless. Their lives are dictated by external forces. They are reactive, not intentional. They are always responding, never directing. But those who truly live, Seneca says, are the ones who have mastered their time. They do not allow it to be stolen by meaningless pursuits. They are not swept away by every trend or obligation. They choose carefully where their attention goes, and because of this, their lives feel longer. This is one of Seneca's most radical insights. A life devoted to wisdom feels spacious, even if it is short in years. Meanwhile, a life wasted on distraction feels empty, even if it is long. Time does not expand or contract based on the calendar. It expands based on how consciously it is lived. A single day lived fully is worth more than decades lived unconsciously. Seneca warns us about a particular danger, living for others at the expense of ourselves. He does not mean kindness or service. He means surrendering your entire life to expectations, demands, and obligations that are never examined. Some people, he says, belong to everyone except themselves. Their time is constantly claimed, their attention constantly divided. They never sit alone long enough to ask what they actually want from life. And because of this, they reach old age without ever having lived. This, to Seneca, is the true tragedy. Not dying young, but dying without ever having been alive. He speaks harshly about those who obsess over wealth, power, and fame. Not because these things are evil, but because they are insatiable. No matter how much you gain, it is never enough. Your life becomes a series of postponements. Once I have this, then I will rest. Once I reach that, then I will be content. But contentment never arrives, because it was never in those things to begin with. Meanwhile, time drains away. Seneca urges us to reclaim our lives by reclaiming our minds, to stop scattering our attention on what does not matter, to turn inward, to study wisdom, to reflect, to live deliberately. He believed that the study of philosophy connects us to the greatest minds of the past, allowing us to transcend our limited lifespan. When you read and reflect deeply, you're no longer confined to your own years. You participate in a longer human conversation. In this way, the wise extend their lives beyond time itself. This is why Seneca says that the wise are never short of time. They do not live in fear of death, because they have already lived fully. Every day is complete in itself. They do not cling desperately to life, because they have not wasted it. Contrast this with those who reach the end filled with regret, who suddenly realize how much was lost to trivial concerns, how many days were given away without thought, how little attention was paid to what truly matters. At that moment, life does feel cruelly short, but it is not life that failed them. It is how they lived it. Seneca's message is not comfortable, but it is liberating. You do not need more time. You need more awareness. You do not need a longer life. You need a deeper one. Begin by guarding your time as carefully as you would guard your wealth. Say no more often. Step back from the noise. Question the goals you're chasing. Ask whether they are worth your finite existence. Remember that you are not immortal, and let that knowledge sharpen your focus, not darken your spirit. The days are not slipping away from you. You're handing them over. So take them back. Live now, not later, not someday, because life is not short unless you make it so.